Before Doctor Strange ever touched a spell, there was a sorcerer who guarded Earth from shadows unseen. A figure older than legends, wiser than kings, known only as the Ancient One. Now, who exactly was this mysterious figure? Where did they come from? Some comic versions whisper Tibet, others hint at Nepal, and then there are whispers of realms beyond Earth itself. Sounds like a classic. You won't believe this story, right? But hang on, we'll get to the wildest origin theories in a bit. So, how did this Ancient One go from a mere mortal to a master of the mystical arts? Imagine a young seeker hungry for knowledge, wandering ancient temples and hidden libraries, learning secrets that most people didn't even know existed. But this wasn't curiosity for curiosity's sake. Every lesson, every discovery, every tiny spell was a step toward a bigger purpose, protecting the Earth from forces too dark for humans to even imagine. And trust me, these weren't your usual bad guys. These were cosmic horrors that could unravel reality itself. Speaking of which, the Ancient One wasn't just some wandering wizard. They formed a connection with the Vishanti, three powerful mystical entities who guide sorcerers, grant wisdom, and occasionally scold you if you mess up the universe. Through this bond, the Ancient One learned not just magic, but the art of defending Earth itself. And that's when the title of Sorcerer Supreme wasn't just a name. It was a responsibility that no one else could bear. And bear it they did. Time and again, the Ancient One faced threats that could destroy entire worlds. Dormammu, the ruler of the dark dimension. Shumagorath, a creature older than time itself. Dark sorcerers who plotted from the shadows. And here's the kicker, Earth didn't even know. How many times did you walk down the street completely oblivious that your planet was saved by someone who could bend reality with a flick of a hand? That's the Ancient One's legacy. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Unlike your typical hero who fights the bad guy and sleeps well at night, the Ancient One sometimes walked a very thin line. They used forbidden dark magic, yes, dark magic, to protect the greater good. Think about that for a second. The person who is teaching the next generation of sorcerers could also be bending rules that others would consider absolute. This moral complexity is what made the Ancient One both revered and feared. And if you're wondering, did that ever backfire? Well, stick around, because we'll explore that later. Of course, the Ancient One wasn't a lone wolf. They built the Sanctum in Kamar Taj, a place that became the cradle of Earth's mystical defenders. Disciples came from every corner of the world, drawn to this nexus of knowledge and power. Imagine walking into a library where every book could change reality, and then adding mentors who could actually teach you to do it. That's Kamar Taj, and that's where legends like Doctor Strange began their journey. Yes, Doctor Strange, the Ancient One, looked at him and saw more than arrogance, more than ego. They saw potential. They saw a sorcerer who could rise beyond his flaws through mentorship that was equal parts tough love and mystical lessons. The Ancient One shaped not just a hero, but the entire course of the Marvel universe. And here's a question for you. What would have happened if the Ancient One had chosen differently? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because that's a multiverse level. What if? That's fascinating to imagine. And then, the inevitable death. In the comics and films, the Ancient One didn't fall because they were defeated. They chose to let go. Even the most powerful beings must bow to time. But their influence didn't vanish. Every spell Doctor Strange casts, every mystical battle Earth faces carries echoes of their wisdom. And here's a little twist for you. The Ancient One's death wasn't an end. It was another lesson. A reminder that sometimes the greatest power is knowing when to step aside. So, what does all of this mean for us, Mim? immortals. Well, the Ancient One's legacy is proof that true mastery, true wisdom, is more than power. It's understanding, foresight, and sometimes sacrifice. And if you've been intrigued by cosmic mysteries and the limits of human understanding, you might just want to see how the real world's greatest minds unlocked secrets that changed everything. And if you thought that was wild, wait until you see why even gods feared the symbiote king. The power, the fear, it's on another level. Check out the next video to see why even the mightiest tremble.